And we're back. With the NFL free agency period settling down, it's time to see which teams have brought in pieces to bolster their roster for next season. Our special guest today is NFL analyst Austin Garcia, and he's here to talk to us about moves that have been made and possible moves in the future. How you doing, Mr. Garcia?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Now, which teams have caught your eye so far?
I would say definitely the Cleveland Browns. They had an all-new front office this year. They completely cleaned house. They traded Trevorton last year, so they have 2 first-round picks coming up in this year's draft. They had a top 10 defense last year, and they added Carlos Dansby and Dante Whitner, 2 great players. So their defense is on the upside. Their defense will get a lot better this season. Even being a top 10, they might be top 5 this year. And they're in a weaker division this year than normally. When you have the Steelers and the Ravens, usually you think playoff and championships, but last year it wasn't really about that. And I can see them winning their division this year and making some kind of push in the playoffs.
And they still have Joe Hayden as their star cornerback, who is a young talent in this league. Him and Patrick Peterson are really 2 major young talents in this league at the cornerback position. So that's a good little team that they're building in Cleveland. Hopefully they can do some damage this year. Now, what are your biggest winners and losers of the free agency period so far?
I would definitely say the biggest winner would be the New England Patriots. They signed one receiver, Brandon LaFell, and re-signed Julian Edelman. So Tom Brady, from having just one weapon last year as Julian Edelman, now has Brandon LaFell and a healthy Dan Amendola returning. They signed both Darrelle Revis and Brandon Browner, 2 of the best defensive backs in the league. So their defense has gotten way better. Their offense has gotten way better. And last year they were already a playoff team with Bill Belichick behind them and Tom Brady. So I can really see them making a run at Super Bowl this year. Definitely.
And we all know that Brandon Browner will be serving a 4-game suspension to start out the season. Do you think that will have any effect on the defense as a whole or defensive schemes going forward?
Going forward, I only see it as a problem if he continues to be suspended. I know back in 2011 he was suspended for the same thing, but appealed it and got away and didn't get suspended for it. I can see if he can really stay strong and believe in the Patriot way that Bill Belichick has endowed to his players, that I can really see him being really successful for New England.
Now, New England has ran that division in the past, and they look to do the same this year coming up. Now, we all know your allegiance to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Correct.
And you are part of the fandom that encompasses Philadelphia, the tough, the rugged, the outgoing, one could say. Have you been happy with the moves they've made so far?
I've been pretty happy. Usually, as a Philadelphia sports fan, we don't usually make any moves in the offseason and usually have, mediocre seasons in the playoffs. So making the playoffs last year, expecting to be a 4-12 season, it was great. And now we added Darren Sproles and a safety which we desperately needed, and a cornerback. So our defense is improving slightly better, and we have new weapons to the already high-octane offense that we have. So I can see us doing some damage in a weak NFC East division.
Now, I know there's fantasy football players out there, me being one, you also being one. Now, many people had a great season last year riding the shoulders of LaShawn McCoy.
Correct.
Now, do you think with Sproles as the second guy will affect the fantasy output that LaShawn McCoy will have next
I would say it would definitely affect him, but I would still take him in the first round, definitely. Darren Sproles will probably be taking most of the third down reps and a lot more passing plays out of the backfield, but I could definitely see LaShawn McCoy's stats going down a little bit from last year.
Now, that's something else to see when you have 2 guys like that on the field at once in Chip Kelly's offense. It's really a match made in heaven for the Philadelphia Eagles. So, I can't keep you here all day. Now, I want to know what possible moves that can be coming in the future.
I could definitely see the Jets. They have the most money in the AFC East right now, and they still need a quarterback and an offensive tackle. They signed Eric Decker, so I would see them making moves maybe for Michael Vick or an offensive tackle. I could see that happening in the future.
Now, the Raiders also have been very, very poor in their decision-making this offseason. They lost their starting left tackle to the Arizona Cardinals. Their starting right defensive end to the Chicago Bears. And after signing Roger Saffold from the Rams, 3 days later they canceled or terminated his contract due to a failed physical. What is going on in Raider Nation?
The Raiders organization right now is a little bit of a mess. Since Al Davis, they really haven't got anything going for them since the 90s. And I just feel like they need to change a lot in the front office, and they just need to revamp the whole franchise, honestly. And they've signed Justin Tuck, a veteran DN, but he's a little past his prime. And they really have not made any big moves, having the most cap room coming into free agency, to make any moves to make their team better this year.
Now, I just want to thank you for having you today.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Enjoyed it.
And more highlights coming up. I'm Alec Areno.